Happened to the 50 million Africans, your brothers and sisters, that were murdered in Munamatapa, now called South Africa, under Cecil John Rhodes? Do you know that black folks take scholarship in honor of John Rhodes, Cecil John Rhodes? Because you don't know. Nobody told you who Rhodes was. Rhodes make Hitler look like a playboy. You don't know about the Holocaust with Frederick Lugard and Dr. Jameson in what is today called Nigeria, with Goldie and others when they took over the colony. You don't know about the Holocaust with Leopold II, the Vanderbilts and the Pew and the others, the Rockefellers and so forth, when they took over what was called Manicongo in those days and changed it to the Congo Free State. How many millions? 22 million were exterminated. African women pregnant were placed in the middle of roads, and 3 limbs put to both arms, and then cut with the horses and split them open, and the babies fell out as punishment that the men would see it. These are records. They themselves wrote, not realizing that Africans will come later to revenge these causes. But that isn't mentioned as Holocaust in any. What happened to the 50 million Africans, your brothers and sisters, that were murdered in Munamatapa, now called South Africa, under Cecil John Rhodes? Do you know that black folks take scholarship in honor of John Rhodes, Cecil John Rhodes? Because you don't know. Nobody told you who Rhodes was. Rhodes make Hitler look like a playboy. You don't know about the Holocaust with Frederick Lugard and Dr. Jameson in what is today called Nigeria, with Goldie and others when they took over the colony. You don't know about the Holocaust with Leopold II, the Vanderbilts and the Pew and the others, the Rockefellers and so forth, when they took over what was called Manicongo in those days and changed it to the Congo Free State. How many millions? 22 million were exterminated. African women pregnant were placed in the middle of roads, and 3 limbs put to both arms, and then cut with the horses and split them open, and the babies fell out as punishment that the men would see it. These are records. They themselves wrote, not realizing that Africans will come later to revenge these causes. But that isn't mentioned as Holocaust in any. What happened to the 50
silent when we spoke of slavery. They nodded when we mentioned colonization, but when we talk about African greatness, suddenly they demand proof. Proof that was burned, forgotten on purpose. And now, when we try to remember, we are told it's dangerous, divisive, or made up. But here's the truth. You cannot erase a people by hiding their past. You only delay their rise, because here's what they fear most. In order for them to be superior, we must remain inferior. That illusion falls apart the moment we remember. This is not about hate, it's about healing, and we heal by remembering. The revolution we need is memory. They were silent when we spoke of slavery. They nodded when we mentioned colonization, but when we talk about African greatness, suddenly they demand proof. Proof that was burned, forgotten on purpose. And now, when we try to remember, we are told it's dangerous, divisive, or made up. But here's the truth. You cannot erase a people by hiding their past. You only delay their rise, because here's what they fear most. In order for them to be superior, we must remain inferior. That illusion falls apart the moment we remember. This is not about hate, it's about healing, and we heal by remembering. The revolution we need is memory. They were silent when we spoke of slavery. They nodded when we mentioned colonization, but when we talk about African greatness, suddenly they demand proof. Proof that was burned, forgotten on purpose, and now, when we try to remember, we are told it's dangerous, divisive, or made up. But here's the truth. You cannot erase a people by hiding their past. You only delay their rise, because here's what they fear most. In order for them to be superior, we must remain inferior. That illusion falls apart the moment we remember. This is not about hate, it's about healing, and we heal by remembering. The revolution we need is memory. They were silent when we spoke of slavery. They nodded when we mentioned colonization, but when we talk about African greatness, suddenly they demand proof. Proof that was burned, forgotten on purpose, and now, when we try to remember, we are told it's dangerous, divisive, or made up. But here's the truth. You cannot erase a people by hiding their past. You only delay their rise, because here's what they fear most. In order for them to be superior, we must remain inferior. That illusion falls apart the moment we remember. This is not about hate, it's about healing, and we heal by remembering. The revolution we need is memory.
These so-called Democrats need to understand this. When they understand their instructions from the other side, they come, they do everything to apply it. It's shameful. This gives us several lessons in the sense that the independence we take, the sovereignty we take, we must do everything to ensure it. They have given us very good lessons, and we have understood them very well.
In the heart of West Africa, a storm is gathering.
Breaking news, the new leader of ECOWAS, he is no better than the previous leader from Nigeria. This guy came out strong, stating how he's going to change things, that all the West African countries, they are going to practice democracy, that all the leaders from Sahel state, they must step down. He said that he's going to make sure Ibrahim Traore step down, that he is going to be better leader than the previous leader, that West Africa must be great again. But people from Sierra Leone, they are saying different things. They are not happy with this president. In fact,
on one side stands a lion, bold, fearless, loved by his people. Captain Ibrahim Traore, the man leading Burkina Faso's fight for sovereignty and liberation from Western control. On the other side, a man who was once welcomed as a brother, but has now chosen betrayal over unity. A man who dares challenge the revolution. A man being called a puppet of the West. Julius Maada Bio, the current president of Sierra Leone, and now the new face of ECOWAS. He has just committed the ultimate mistake. He picked a fight with the Lion of Burkina Faso. It was only a year ago that Julius Maada Bio stood in Ouagadougou, shaking hands with Captain Ibrahim Traore. He applauded Traore's reforms. He praised the discipline of Burkina Faso's military. He admired the courage of a nation rising from the ashes. But power changes men. And now that Maada Bio has become the new president of ECOWAS, he has turned his back on everything he once claimed to support. Instead of pushing for African unity, instead of respecting national sovereignty, he has taken the Western script and is now reading it word for word. At a recent ECOWAS summit, Maada Bio made a shocking demand that all military leaders, including Traore, must step down immediately or face consequences. He didn't speak as an African. He spoke as a messenger of the empire. Let's not be naive. This is not Mada Bio's voice. It's the voice of Paris, of Brussels, of Washington. Because after all their failed attempts to destabilize Burkina Faso, after failed sanctions, failed propaganda, and failed assassination plots, the West has now resorted to their final strategy, using Africans to destroy Africans. They tried to break Traoré from the outside and failed. So now they're trying to break him from within, using ECOWAS as a political weapon. And Maada Bio, he has become their willing tool, the traitor in African skin. Make no mistake, this is not just about Burkina Faso. This is an open declaration of war on the entire Sahel revolution. Under this new ECOWAS policy pushed by Maada Bio, the demand is simple. Mali must surrender. Niger must surrender. Burkina Faso must surrender. Guinea must return to ECOWAS on its knees. Every country that chose a military path to liberate itself from neocolonialism is now being threatened by a fellow African. But Maada Bio and his handlers have miscalculated, because Africa is awake, and the people from Bamako to Niamey to Ouagadougou are not going back. They will not allow their destiny to be dictated by a president installed through ballots controlled by foreign interests. The streets of Burkina Faso are boiling. Citizens have come out by the thousands, not to protest, but to warn. They are sending a loud and clear message to Julius Maada Bio and ECOWAS. Touch our president and you touch our blood. They're not afraid. They know what is at stake. They have fought too hard to reclaim their sovereignty, and they are not about to let it go because of some political puppet dancing to a Western rhythm. They know Traoré is not just a man. He is the embodiment of their freedom. And the people of Burkina Faso are not playing when it comes to protecting him. Back in Sierra Leone, the fire is spreading in Maada Bio's own backyard. His own people are furious. The youth are speaking out. How dare you attack a man who stands for African liberation? How dare you become a pawn of foreign powers? They have taken to social media, to the streets, to community gatherings, calling on Maada Bio to resign immediately as ECOWAS president. They know his new role is not about unity. It's about submission. It's about dragging free nations back into chains. But the people of Africa are watching, and they are not silent. This is the battle of two Africas. One Africa is rising, led by young, fearless patriots like Captain Ibrahim Traoré, who refuse to bow to France, who reject foreign domination, who are building their nations with sovereignty at the center. The other Africa is rotting, led by old puppets and polished traitors, men like Julius Maada Bio, who wear the African cloth but serve the interests of those who once colonized us. This is not just politics. This is the final stand. Either Africa belongs to its people or it belongs to its exploiters, and the people have already chosen. To ECOWAS, let this be your final warning. If you continue to be used by foreign powers, if you continue to threaten the sovereignty of Mali, Niger, Guinea, and Burkina Faso, if you continue to speak the words of colonizers rather than the voice of the African people, then you will no longer be seen as a union. You will be seen as an enemy of the African revolution. And no revolution in history has ever been stopped by a committee of cowards. Julius Maada Bio has made his choice. He chose betrayal over brotherhood, submission over strength, fear over freedom. But Captain Ibrahim Traoré has also made his choice: to stand, to fight, to lead. And the people are with him, not just in Burkina Faso, but across every inch of Africa that still believes in dignity, in resistance, and in true independence. Let the world know. Let ECOWAS know. Let every puppet president know. The lion will not kneel. The Sahel will not fall. And Africa will never again be controlled by those who hate its power.
They were silent when we spoke of slavery. They nodded when we mentioned colonization. But when we talk about African greatness, suddenly they demand proof. Proof that was burned, forgotten on purpose. And now, when we try to remember, we are told it's dangerous, divisive, or made up. But here's the truth. You cannot erase a people by hiding their past. You only delay their rise. Because here's what they fear most. In order for them to be superior, we must remain inferior. That illusion falls apart the moment we remember. This is not about hate, it's about healing, and we heal by remembering. The revolution we need is memory. They were silent when we spoke of slavery. They nodded when we mentioned colonization. But when we talk about African greatness, suddenly they demand proof. Proof that was burned, forgotten on purpose. And now, when we try to remember, we are told it's dangerous, divisive, or made up. But here's the truth. You cannot erase the people by hiding their past. You only delay their rise. Because here's what they fear most. In order for them to be superior, we must remain inferior. That illusion falls apart the moment we remember. This is not about hate, it's about healing. And we heal by remembering. The revolution we need is memory. They were silent when we spoke of slavery. They nodded when we mentioned colonization. But when we talk about African greatness, suddenly they demand proof. Proof that was burned, forgotten on purpose. And now, when we try to remember, we are told it's dangerous, divisive, or made up. But here's the truth. You cannot erase a people by hiding their past. You only delay their rise. Because here's what they fear most. In order for them to be superior, we must remain inferior. That illusion falls apart the moment we remember. This is not about hate, it's about healing, and we heal by remembering. The revolution we need is memory.
All right. Good afternoon, folks. Once again, this is Frank. I am your host. This is the Revolutionary Repatriation Educational Lecture Series as part of WCC every Sunday at 1 p.m. We want to say welcome you all, and as you come, please share. And if this is your first time, please also subscribe. That's all we need from you. We are not looking for donation. All we need from you is to share so that it can reach many people as possible as it can. But again, if you want to donate, you can. We will take it. All right. Okay. Today's topic, it says ECOWAS. Even though, as we all know, we have spoken about this several times, many times, right? That ECOWAS, Economic Community of West African States. But we want to say it is an economic community of the West Eastern World. Okay? Economic community of the Western World Association state. I think that's a good definition. Economic community of the Western World Association state. Not economic community of West Africa, because it is not a community that fights for Africa. It is not an economy that fights for African survival. Rather, it is an economy that fights for Washington, D.C., for France, from Europe, for the West, for the colonizer, for the imperialist, the oppressor, survivor. So how can we say it is an economic community of West African state when it is not operating in a confine of a community of Africa, but rather it is operating in a confine of a community of the West? So that is the definition going forth for ECOWAS. Economic community of Western association state. So the topic for today says ECOWAS new chair, Madam. I'm going to call him Madam. He's not, because he's not a man, he's a woman, so I will call him Madam. And this is not an insult to the brave African queen. This term, it is not a term to put you down, please. I'm not going to call him Mada. I'm going to call him Manda. Manda Bio. The new chair for ECOWAS is barking like a bulldog. The new chair for ECOWAS, the Sierra Leone president in West Africa, Madam Bio, or whosoever his name is, he's barking like a bulldog. Tinubu cannot protect Nigerian. And he want to talk about they are about to take drastic action. That was Tinubu's statement. While turning power over to Madam Bio. The new chair that was barking, or that is barking like a bulldog. You know, whenever the imperialists make these people like, I mean, we said this the last time. What puppet, right? Puppet just means is our English and a French word put together. P-U-P, pop, it means small, right? M-P, small. And then P-E-T, pet, isn't it? So, puppet, it just means dog. It means your pet, your little pet. So these African leaders are so energetic when they are being referred to as puppet, Western pet, Western dog. That is why the president of Sierra Leone is barking like a bulldog, because he's barking for his master. You know, when you own a plantation, or as a dog, when you are in your yard or in the yard of your master, and you see someone coming into the yard or to the farm on a plantation, because on a plantation they have these dogs. So Madam Bio is one of the dogs, like barking like a dog on a plantation. You know, when you are on a plantation and you see an intruder, right? Someone who does not belong to the plantation. Or when the dog is on a plantation and the dog see, you know, animals that are coming to eat the crops. What the dog do? The dog start barking in order to fear away the intruder to go away, right? That is exactly Madam Bio. Barking like a bulldog so that he can put fear in another African leader. In other African leaders who are standing for their people. You know, there's one question we want to ask Madam Bio. Madam, M-A-D-A-M. Madam. That's his name. That's his new name. And by the way, the first lady of Sierra Leone, you are sleeping with your enemies. And you know why I said that? Because there's a video out there. I'm not going to have the time to play it, but many of you have seen it. The current president, first lady of Sierra Leone, when she was being interviewed, and she was talking about how the West exploits Africa. How Africa has vast resources, but Africa cannot benefit. And she spoke well. So, Madam First Lady, don't you think you are sleeping with the enemy? Because what she spoke against is what exactly Abraham Traore Assimi Koita Tiani as speaking or as standing against. What you spoke against. The freedom you fought for, you spoke for. Sorry, you did not fight, you spoke. Because we haven't seen any drastic movement in Sierra Leone. But I would say the freedom or the freedom you spoke about, that's the freedom the Sahel nation are fighting for. So could it be that they also got motivation from you? And now the same thing you spoke against is what exactly your husband, who is the current president for Sierra Leone, standing against. So that means you are sleeping with the enemy of Sierra Leone. You are sleeping with the enemy of Africa. You are sleeping with the enemies of your people. So the president of Sierra Leone being on the plantation of the slave master and looking after the crops, because the crops now is the resources, because that's all his slave master need. That's all the Western world need. So he's on a plantation as a bulldog. And now he's backing like a bulldog to fear away Abraham Tuareg so that they can come back as a slave to the plantation democracy. Well, Madam, M-A-D-A-M, Madam Bio or Bio, whosoever your name is, but we have Madam to it. We are going to play the video where he was backing like a bulldog along with Tinubu, but we have message for Tinubu as well. We want to ask you this question, Madam Bio, because you spoke very eloquently, as I will put it, right, about democracy. So we want to ask you eloquent question. What's wrong with the democracy in Togo? Because these are people that have been in power for over 50 years, because you speak of democracy. Now we are asking you, you see why when we say democracy is a scam, and we say it not because we are afraid of democracy. Even Tinubu himself stated it, that democracy is very difficult to deal with. But it is the reality that we have to accept. That's what Tinubu said. Not me. We are going to play the video. Why should we inherit a democracy or a system that is difficult to deal with? We don't need it. So, Madam Bayo, you spoke of democracy. Since when have you spoken about democracy in DRC Congo? Is that a form of democracy in DRC Congo? Oh, Madam Bayo, the new chairman for ECOWAS. You are playing with a generation that you don't know. I don't think you want to be president now because you want a serious problem in Sierra Leone. Madam Bayo or Bio, whosoever your name is. What's wrong with the democracy of Cameroon? Have you spoken about Pombia? They're raking elections upon elections. Now this man is about 92 or 93 years old, still in power. What can a 93 years old man do in his leadership? Say he was in his daily. He did not do anything until now he's 93. Is that the kind of democracy you're talking about for Africans? Or for Africa? What a shame to the African puppet leader. What is that democracy? Oh, you are barking like a bulldog. And you say you do not want cool. Fine. Good. Thank you for speaking out. But let me ask you a question. You had that energy to bark like a bulldog. But have you ever wondered, question the United States when it went in a foreign nation, went in Africa, and committed a crime and invaded Libya. A foreign nation, not Africa, not part of Africa, not even in a jurisdiction of the African continent, another continent, far away, who went to another African nation and carried on coup d'etat and killed a president. And Madam Bayo, Madam, you been coming to the United Nations. Have you ever questioned the United States of what they did to Libya? And what they did to Libya, it affected the entire African continent in totality, holistically. He did not speak. It has been alleged that the United States sponsor the Arab Spring. I would say alleged. Let me just put it there, but we know. Have you ever questioned the U.S.? Have you taken the U.S. to the United Nations? I mean, you have that energy to buy like a bulldog. Why didn't you use that energy to talk about democracy in Togo? To talk about democracy in DRC Congo? To talk about democracy in Sudan? Look at Sudan. The people are dying every day. You say you are a military man, right? Look at Sudan. Look at Somalia. Look at these nations in Africa. You want to talk about democracy, Madam Bayo, or Bio, Madam. Let me ask you a question. Where did you get this energy from? When the Sahel, Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, they've been in our region for so long, being oppressed by France, looting their resources, their diamond or their gold being reserved in France, where the people cannot benefit. Their uranium, they power the entire Europe, while no current in Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. Where was that energy? Why didn't you buy like a bulldog? You know, this is what we want to believe now. Some of you African leaders that are traitor, that are betrayal. Some of you have a lineage. Some of you have a lineage with the Africans who betray other Africans doing slavery. Some of you African leaders today, some of you have a lineage with the Africans who betray other warriors when a Western nation went to Africa to colonize the African continent. Some of you African leaders have lineage. By bloodline, some of you. And some of you are in power today with that lineage and still betraying the African continent. Some of you come from that lineage that betrayed Kwame Nkrumah. You know, currently what we're seeing now is the Marlin version of the Casablanca group and the Moravia group. And some of you lineage were part of that Moravia group that betrayed the African continent. That today we are facing what we are facing. Some of you from our lineage. Yes, no, Nkrumah, we will do that. We have it here. We will do that, you know. We usually use the book on a Saturday show, like the book club reading, but I agree with you. Sometimes we will try to incorporate, you know, that into the Sunday show as well. So, Madam Bill, you have the lineage to the betrayal that started way by doing slavery, colonization. You have a lineage. Some of you have lineage to the people who fought alongside with the colonizer to start betraying African leaders, to start killing African leaders. Some of you lineage, some of you have lineage to it. And we can say that you have a lineage to that bloodline. You people have been a problem to the African continent. Where is that energy for the suffering people of DRC Congo? Where is that energy for the people of Sudan, the people of Mali and Somalia, the people of Togo? Where is that energy? You want to talk about democracy? Look at the entire Sahel nation. Then what is democracy now? Because if you define the Western form of democracy, it says government by the people, of the people, and for the people. And when you look at the Sahel nation, it fit perfectly to that definition. Because it is a government by the people. Because the people support the government. The people support the government. The entire Sahel, they support the government of the Sahel nation. And the leaders are for the people. The leaders are for the people. That is your definition of democracy now, right? So we're just breaking it down. So what kind of democracy are you talking about? Slavery democracy? Oppressive democracy? Exploitative democracy? Wow. So yesterday, Madam Bio, before you became a chair for the Economic Community of Western Association State, ECOWAS, you visited the Sahel nation. You endorse them. You praise them of the stand they are taking, of the freedom of the African continent. And you once said you will join them for the freedom of Africa. What happened now? Have you gotten your share from the imperialists, from the colonizer? Have they given you some promises? Because we know you have a bloodline to the people that betray African during slavery. We now know you have a bloodline to the people that betrayed Africa during colonization. We now know that you have a bloodline to the betrayal of the African people who killed African revolutionary and democratic leader. We now know you have a bloodline. Let's play this video here and we dive into it. That's just my introduction. Economic Community of Western Association State, ECOWAS. New chair for Burkina Faso. And let's say new chair is barking like a dog, like a bulldog, because he is a puppet. And puppet means Western dog. That's what puppet means. It's a French and an English word. P-U-P, pop. It means small, and pet, and P-U-P, pop, small, right? And then P-E-T is pet. And many of you have pets in your houses. The only difference is you don't call it puppet, you don't call it small pet. Maybe you can call it small pet or little pet. So when these African leaders are being called puppet, Western puppet, I mean Western dog. And that is why the president of Sierra Leone is barking like a dog. Because he's on a plantation trying to put fear. But what he failed to realize is, let him tell his slave master, this is redemption time. This is redemption time. The long-awaited prophecies is here. This is a different time period. It's not going to happen again. Any African leader standing against the liberation, the freedom of Africa, we see you exactly just how we see the enemy in the West. There is no justification for that. To say, oh, that's our brother. No, there is no justification. Enemy is an enemy. A traitor is a traitor. And will treat you like an enemy, will treat you like a traitor. You are enemies. And that's the kind of mentality of this new generation, this new force that you see. So, Madam Bill, you are fighting a battle that you cannot win, because even your slave master, they themselves know they can no longer win this battle. They know this battle they cannot win. Your slave master in the West, they know it. It is a battle that they know their time is out. It's finished. Everything have an end. Everything have a beginning and everything have an end. That is a fact. Everything in this war have a beginning and everything in this war have an end. So your slave master that you are backing for like a bulldog, they know their end time is here. And they know the prophecies has come. So don't get into a battle that you will not win, and you can't win. But you will just be identifying yourself and putting your relative or family in danger. And you saw your general, Michael Lansley, at the end, he have to retire quick. Don't think that retirement, it was wittingly done. I can tell you. It might have started from his home, his wife and kid told him, you have to turn that position over. You have to retire from that position. It is not your fight. I'm just reminding you. Ask Michael Lansley. He tried. And he knew it is not a fight that he will win. Your slave master knows this battle, it is a losing battle for them. And if you think you will go to Burkina Faso or the Sahel nation, where are you going to get an army? Which army is going to go there to go fight for you? Which army? That is why you are backing like a bulldog. Which army is going there? You think African people, you think another African nation or another African army going to go to Mali, Burkina Faso to go fight another African to go kill or to go be killed? You think so? Some of you people are so dumb and stupid. But let's play this video here as we continue. So this is the video we're going to dive into. And as we dive into it, we're going to play other video alongside, come back, listen, and then play another video alongside, come back and listen. So in this video I'm about to show you, ECOWAS just had a meeting. The outgoing ECOWAS chair, Tinubu. And by the way, the reason why, let me say this. Let me say this. These people think we are stupid. But we are not. Oh, man. This is a different time period. You don't have to tell us what to understand or how we should get it. We already get it. You know, Economic Community of Western Association State, ECOWAS, along with their puppet, they feel that the three leaders, the three kings of kings in Africa, the Shahid, they feel that those guys are young, energetic, and in their mind, because the reason why those guys are young and energetic, that is the reason the youth of Africa or around the world are behind those people. That is how they are thinking. They are not thinking that those leaders and the youth of Africans around the world, both home and abroad, are tired with the BS of the West. They're not thinking that way. They think that because those leaders are young and this and that, that's why, we are behind those people. So they thought it's wise to go for another military man who is still in his prime, Madam Bayo or Bio. I don't even care to pronounce his name right. I don't care. So they thought it's wise to go for another young man, another young military man. But it makes it. That is not why we are supporting Abraham Traore because he's young. We are not supporting him because he's young. We are not supporting Tiani because Tiani is young. We are not supporting Keita because he's young. No. We support them because of their principle. They have principle. And those principles, it is based on fundamental principle of the African belief, fundamental principle of the African struggle, fundamental principle of the African perspective, fundamental principle of the African daily living. Fundamental principle of the African stories and fundamental principle of the African reality. That is why we support them. So Madam Bio or Tinubu, you can even be 90 years old as a president as long you stand by those principles that those young leaders are standing for. We can assure you, you will have the support of the African masses, both home and abroad. Nothing less, nothing more. You can even be a young leader like those three kings. If you don't have those principles, we are not for you. And that means we are coming against you. And against you in every manner. That is our stand. Let's watch the video as we basset.
Subscribe for my channel, where we break down the stories that matter most to Africans at home and abroad. Please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful updates like this one. In a bold statement that is already drawing mixed reactions, the new ECOWAS president, Julius Maada Bio, has declared his commitment to restoring what he calls democratic leadership in West Africa. While reading his official memo, he encouraged the military-led governments of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, the AES alliance, to return power to elected leaders. He stressed that ECOWAS must stay united and build a stronger regional force to combat the recent surge in armed groups destabilizing the region.
Meanwhile, Sierra Leone's President Julius Maada Bio has been elected as the new chairperson of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government. In his inaugural address, he laid out 4 strategic priorities: restoring constitutional order, strengthening democracy, improving regional security, and boosting economic integration. Bio called for greater support to transitional governments and emphasized the need to revamp ECOWAS's collective security framework. He also stressed that expanding trade, infrastructure, and cross-border value claims to create jobs.
Hello, my name is Adam Ferrari, the Chief Executive Officer of Phoenix Energy. I look forward to you.
Engage transitional governments constructively and support member states in building stronger democratic institutions rooted in the rule of law. Second, revitalizing regional security cooperation. We must overhaul our collective security architecture, from intelligence sharing to rapid response to confront new threats with unity and resolve. Third, unlocking economic integration. The ECOWAS trade liberalization scheme, regional infrastructure, and cross-border value chains must become.
But this raises a pressing question. Why is ECOWAS so determined to push a brand of democracy that has failed to bring lasting change or true representation to the region? Should the AES really return to a bloc that seems more aligned with foreign interests than African realities? Before we continue, kindly consider supporting this channel by sending us a super thanks or becoming a channel member. Your contribution fuels independent African journalism and allows us to keep amplifying African voices. In a resurfaced video making the rounds online, the outgoing ECOWAS chairman, President Bola Tinubu, is seen passionately condemning the recent military takeovers in Africa. He vowed that ECOWAS would respond and ensure that elected governments are reinstated.
We will not allow.
You know, before we come to Tinubu, because let me address Madam Bill, and then we'll address Tinubu as well. We have messages for him. And let me say this first. Let me say this to every listener. You see, when Tinubu was the chair for ECOWAS, the way he spoke in this video, he never spoke like that when he was ECOWAS, chairman for the ECOWAS. All right? He never spoke like that. The reason why he never spoke like that, he was afraid because he know in Nigeria, they support the principle of the Shahid nation. He's very smart. These guys are smart, but not smart enough for them and their people. But they are smart enough for them and their master. Not smart enough for the African continent, but they are smart enough to work for the slave master. So they know the population of Nigeria. So that is why he spoke like this on the day that he was turning power over to Sierra Leone. Because if there's a chaos in Sierra Leone, it won't really affect ECOWAS. ECOWAS will still exist. But if that chaos should have happened in Nigeria, that would be the end. Because the reality here is, you see the protests going on in Kenya. Bravo to the Kenyan. Bravo to them. You see the protest going in Togo, the protest that is going on in Togo, the resilience that is going on in Togo. If that happened in Nigeria, it's finished. Amen. If that happened in Nigeria, that's it. So they are very calculative, very, very calculative in what they are doing. So what I want to do here is turn it over to a smaller nation and then use that nation to put the pressure. Because even if there's a protest in, how they call it, Sierra Leone, you know, it will make noise, it will come out. But it won't be heavy as Nigeria. The day Nigeria dare try it, that will be the beginning and the end of the West and the end of this puppet leader. That will be it. And we are waiting for Nigeria to wake up. When are you going to wake up, Nigeria? When? You see, today the US put travel restriction or ban on Ghana is because of the youth in Ghana, the step they have taken. You think they put travel ban on Ghana because, or they put Ghana in a red zone because Ghana is actually the bad place? No, they know Ghana is not a bad place. But the reason why they did that is because the people of Ghana know what they want and they have spoke friendly to their government, to their leader, John Mahama, and told him what they want in Ghana. And they told him, we will protect you if you do the right thing, just like the Shahid nation. The people of Ghana have spoken. So the West, they know that they do not have, or they might not have a puppet in Ghana like Nana Akufo-Addo. So you know what they did? They put Ghana in a red zone. And I can tell you, Nigeria, we are waiting for you. But that is a secret to why they took ECOWAS. They took it to Sierra Leone. That's why they took it to Sierra Leone, a small nation. And then they tried to use another military man. But the question to Madam Bayo is this. You've been in power since 2018. Abraham Traoré, the King of Kings, came to power in 2022. But what Abraham Traoré have done in Burkina Faso from 2022, 23, 24, 2 years and a half, what he have done in 2 years and a half, Madam Bayo, you have never achieved that, and you can never achieve that since you came to power in 2018. What these young men have done in 2 years, Madam Bayo, the Sierra Leone president, you have never done that. You're talking about democracy in those regions, and you're talking about those guys you step down. Let me ask you one question. When you have your democracy in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso did not have gold reserve. It is under Abraham Traoré in his 2 years' time, Burkina Faso have a gold reserve. Under your Western democracy that you want in Burkina Faso, they were not full self-sufficient. But since Abraham Traoré came in 2 years of his leadership, Burkina Faso is full self-sufficient. Go to Sierra Leone, are you full self-sufficient? Go to Sierra Leone, you have diamond, one of the nations in Africa that is rich in diamond or blood diamond, right? But Sierra Leone does not have a diamond reserve. The diamond reserve is in Great Britain, is in France, in the Western world. What have you done? Before Abraham Traoré came to power, the reserve, the Burkina Faso gold been in France. But he came and took the gold mine from the people. And today, Burkina Faso have a gold reserve. Do you have a diamond reserve in Sierra Leone? When Sierra Leone is one of the brightest nations in West Africa, with one of the richest gold carrot that the world needs. They even make movie out of a blood diamond. Does Sierra Leone have a reserve of diamond? And not only diamond Sierra Leone have, Sierra Leone also got gold. Does Sierra Leone have a gold reserve? Burkina Faso currently, as we speak, Burkina Faso is full self-sufficient. Then what do you want again? That is, in fact, that is beyond democracy. That is beyond democracy. So democracy is a scam, because when democracy was there, the people were not full self-sufficient. They were called poverty. They were depending on the West for food to come in. They never have a gold reserve, but now they have gold reserve. After they removed democracy, that is why democracy is a scam. When democracy was there, they never have army. Their army were weaker. That is why democracy is a scam. When they took out the democracy, now they began to build their own army. Now they have stronger army. That is why democracy is a scam. And they are vigorously defeating terrorists. Unlike when you have France, the French military was there, the American military, the African, you have Canadian military. I mean, you have all these Western nation military in a small area, but they couldn't fight terrorists. That is why democracy is a scam. Democracy is a scam, is an institution that loot, exploit, oppress, suppress, infiltrate. So, Madam Bill, what is the economic stand or stage of Sierra Leone? Say you came into power 2018. Because we can give you the economic stage or stand of Burkina Faso since this make it into power 2022. They are more reliable than Sierra Leone. They are more stable than Sierra Leone. They are more democratic institution or nation. They are more reliable. All right, sorry, folks, I have to answer this question. So, yes, so that's the question. So, if you look at the Sahel, I mean, these leaders are being more productive than the so-called West African democratic institution or nations. They are not productive. All they do is sell their resources to the West. But look at the Sahel nation. They are productive. I mean, look at the citizens taking development into their own hands. Today, as we speak, Burkina Faso is a supplier of food to the West. Even Sierra Leone. Burkina Faso is feeding you. You, Madam Bill. So what is the democracy you are speaking about? Let's continue here.
Coup after coup. West Africa's president. We will take this up seriously with African Union and to the European Union and Britain and America.
Okay, this is a part I wanted to play, right? I'm going to take this video out. Now, did you hear this idiot of a president? They are going to take the Shahid nation or any military leader to AU, to EU, they are going to take the military leaders to AU, to EU, to Washington, D.C., to Europe. You see these people? You see what I said? ECOWAS is a name not of Africa, but a name for the Western world called Economic Community of Western Association State. They are going to take the military leaders to AU. So you see what AU is, if AU is even useless, they are going to take the military leader to AU, to ECOWAS, I mean to EU, to Washington, D.C. You see this idiot? So allegedly, these are the people who been behind the assassination, over 20 assassination of Ibrahim Traoré and the Shahid nations. These are the people. So you have this energy, Tinubu. You know what? I will take this out. I will agree to you people. But let me show something here to Tinubu. You have this energy, but you can't protect Nigeria. Look at what just happened in Nigeria last month. Last month, look at what happened in Nigeria. Tinubu had this energy to take African leaders to Washington, D.C., to AU, I mean, or EU, to solve African problem. But Tinubu, you had that energy. Look at what happened in Nigeria last month. Let me see this. You know, hold on. Let me take this out. Let's see something what happened. Tinubu have energy, but let's see something here. Let's see what happened in Nigeria last month. Last month. You know, last month, a village in Nigeria was attacked by terrorists. The same terrorists that Ibrahim Traoré is fighting, or the Shahid nations are fighting. The same terrorists last month went in Nigeria and they slaughtered almost an entire village. And Tinubu did nothing. Tinubu did not speak.
Live in Yelewata in Benue State, where the attack took place yesterday, that claimed the lives of over 200 persons, the herdsmen attack. Now, what my eyes have seen, my mouth cannot speak unless you will see it by yourself. So please follow me with the camera. Now, if you notice something, you can see the smoke still coming out because everywhere was burnt. Please take the camera around. Now, let me show you this thing. Please, this video is very sensitive. So it might be very disturbing for you. So a warning is on the video. Thank you. Now, these are human beings. This is a child that was burnt to ashes. This is another one. This is number 2. This is number 3. This is number 4. Please. This is number 4. This is 5. This is 6. Now look at this color. This one. This is 7. These are their bones. These are children that were born in this place. As I am counting now, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just in this room alone, look at their bones. Look at their bones. Please zoom in these bones. These are bones. Now in this room again. This room again. Zoom in. This is another one. 1, 2, 3. These are bones as well. They were bones. They were all bones to ashes. Now let's go outside. Now this is another room again. This is another person. This one you can see. This one is still even very much fresh. The body is still very fresh. It's another room again. Another room again. This is another place. This one. See their bones. Get it. See bone. This is the bone of a human being. See, this is a child. This is a child. See another one. These are children. These are children that were massacred here, burnt to ashes here. Now, the reason why I came here, I'll go and interview some of the persons that were here, that witnessed everything, that can explain. The reason why I came is, one thing I've noticed is that it seems the government don't know what is happening. Maybe because it is not in their faces yet. I don't know why back in the day, when things like this happen, the news, the media bring it to our faces. But nowadays, it's as if maybe they have paid them not to come and talk about things like this. And it's, please, bros, let's just go. So, please, who is that man that was here yesterday? Please, can you come? I'll still take you guys around the area so that you can see. Bros, please. Good day. My name is Very Dark Man. I just came here when I heard what happened. I came here to see the situation of things, and I'm not going to lie to you. What I saw now really broke my heart. Seeing all these people burnt to ashes, really broke my heart. So I have just one purpose: to put it out there for the government to really see what is going on. You know. So please, can you tell us what happened yesterday? You don't need to use English. Use pidgin, more the flow well.
Okay. Yesterday we were in our town at around 10:45.
10:45.
Yeah.
In the morning.
In the evening.
In the evening.
That is in the night.
Yes.
Then it started raining, so we were indoor. Then at about that time now, then the husband, Fulani men, just came nowhere. They started with hunting us at the police station over there.
At the police station? That's where it started?
Yes. No, fully, they knew very well that the police station are there and they are wearing arms, preparing for whatever that will comes. Then from there...
Did they chase the policemen away?
No, the policemen were there to attack them. They did their job.
They did their best.
Their best. Then from there, knowing that, okay, they have attacked them fully there, then another group was down here without the notice of the policemen. Then they started.
Because of time, right, we take that video out. But what happened in this video, right? The terrorists came to the town. This happened last month in Nigeria, under Tinubu government. Opening his wild mouth, barking like a dog. We will do this. We will go to Burkina Faso. We will take our military leader. We will do that. See them. We will take them to the colonial master. We will take them to EU. We will take them to Washington, D.C. Jimmy Papa. Try it. Try now. Go and take them to Washington, D.C. Go and do it. Go and do it. And take them to Washington, D.C. You think Washington, D.C. is stupid? Washington, D.C. is not even stupid. And by the way, there's an old parable or phrase that says, if you sell your brother to the enemies will not trust you. So Washington, D.C. does not even trust you, Tinubu. They don't trust you. Because Even Washington, D.C. know what you're saying. You will take Abraham Traore or the Sahel Nation to Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. just laugh at you. Because the entire world have already seen it. So Washington, D.C. is not... Washington, D.C. first mistake they did was their general, Michael Leslie. And they saw how the world reacted. So at this point, at this critical junction, Washington, D.C. need Africa. And what you African leaders don't know is Washington, D.C. have taken a different approach. You'll be sitting down there acting stupid. These people have taken a different approach. Did you see last week or last 2 weeks when Trump invited DRC Congo and Rwanda? And they struck a deal with DRC Congo and Rwanda in exchange of their mineral resources for peace. Stupid agreement. Tinubu, you, an outgoing chairman of ECOWAS, when you were the chairman of ECOWAS, why didn't you go and make peace? Why didn't you take the crisis in DRC Congo, the crisis in Togo, the crisis in Sudan, the crisis in Somalia to your AU? I mean, to your EU or to your Washington, D.C. What you do know here is the Western world will continue to use you people as you guys are so dumb and stupid. They will continue to use you. They will continue to put you guys together. And then what they do after you guys are fighting among yourself, then they draw back and then go behind you and then start making peace. Do you know that EU have sent delegates, about 9 delegates to Burkina Faso, and they went on their knee and they start begging Burkina Faso? Do you know that? And you sitting on the other side, making enemy with those nations, while EU is there on their knee, begging Burkina Faso, begging the Sahel nation. Do you know that? You see how dumb and stupid you African leaders are, some of you guys? Rwanda and DRC Congo came to Donald Trump in exchange of peace. So, wait a minute. Let's fall back here. Let's fall back here, folks. So, are you telling me it is the United States that have been holding on to the peace of DRC Congo? Let's fall back. Are you telling me it is the United States that have been sponsoring terrorist activities in DRC Congo? That if you give your resources in exchange for, I mean, who buy peace? Who buy peace? No one buy peace. No one buy peace. Let me say this. Do you know the new trends that is coming out now? The new things that is coming out after democracy now? Because, after democracy, now is peace. Peace is the new thing coming out. So what they're going to do now is they will create a chaos and they come to you and say, we can give you peace in exchange of your resources. That is what exactly just happened in DRC Congo. They give the resources to the U.S. in exchange of peace. How? Is it? So are you telling me the United States is holding on to your peace? Are you telling me it's the United States that is sponsoring terrorists? Maybe yes. Maybe yes. Because the United Nations herself alleged, it have been alleged that they also support terrorist activities. They gave ammunition. It have been alleged. As I will put it that way, right? I will put it that way. It have been alleged that they support terrorists. Oh yes, because it was confirmed in Burkina Faso. The latest coup attempt that's happened on Abraham Traore. This armed group use the United Nations truck. They use United Nations trucks dressed in military, and they use that they was in the United Nations vehicles, right, in Burkina Faso, and they open fire on a convoy of Abraham Traoré, and then telling Abraham Traoré to come. And Abraham Traoré said, being a military man, he said no. Why will you be in a UN truck and you open fire on us and you tell me to come to you? So do you see that? So Rwanda and DRC Congo are telling us, in order for the Congo Free State to have peace, they have to give their resources to the US. And then there will be no more war. There will be no more conflict. That is a signal. They are telling us it is the US that have been supporting terrorists, that have been supporting insurgency, that have been supporting proxy war in our place. Because the US does not want to compete with anybody in the region when it comes to the resources. So if the nation can give their resources to the US and take off other nations, then there will be no conflict, because only the US there. Maybe that's what I mean. And one of the delegates of DRC Congo and Rwanda stood in that area in the White House to Donald Trump and telling Donald Trump, you can count on us. We will not betray you. What? Let you count on you. You will not betray the US in terms of the resources to be given to them. What is in there for DRC Congo? So are you telling us it was the US that been harboring insurgency, that been carrying on proxy war in DRC Congo? Is that what you're telling us? And then telling us, telling the US, you can count on us. We will not betray you. We will not forsake you. What sense does it make? So you see that kind of thing, Tinubu. And you guys are here backing like a bulldog on a nation that is fighting to be free. What is the oil reserve of Nigeria? Because Nigeria is one of the nations in Africa. Tinubu, what is the oil reserve of Nigeria? Are the Nigerian people benefiting from the oil in Nigeria? Are they benefiting? But currently, as we speak, I can tell you, the Burkina are benefiting from their gold. From their gold reserve now, they are benefiting. Farmer, in fact, education is free in Nigeria, in Burkina Faso. Is education free? In a rich country like Nigeria, Tinubu, is education free. Madam Bill, is education free in a nation that is so rich in diamond? Is education free? Tinubu, can pregnant women go to the hospital to get blood free of charge and go home? Is it free? In a rich country like Nigeria, yeah, it's free. In Burkina Faso, pregnant women go and get safe birth and go home. No hospital charge. Sierra Leone, is that free? It's free in Burkina Faso. What kind of democracy do you want? Because the life in those areas, people are living better life than the so-called democratic nation in Africa. What kind of democracy? Democracy is a scam. It's a scam. It's a scam. In all rich countries like Nigeria, the people are starving and suffering. Nothing free. But today in Burkina Faso, from ABC to college, tuition free. Today in Burkina Faso, university students take pay every month. Is that happening in Sierra Leone? In a diamond-rich country, university students taking pay every month while they are in school. Is that happening in Sierra Leone? No, but it's happening in Burkina Faso. What kind of democracy are you talking about? All university students in Burkina Faso are taking pay every month from the benefit of the gold. Is that happening in Nigeria? From the benefit of their oil? Are university students taking pay every month for the benefit of their oil? That is not happening. What kind of democracy are you talking about? What kind of government are you talking about? So in reality, these Shahen nation, they are not military leader. They are revolutionary leader. They are the leader for the people, by the people of the people, and loved by the people, and they love their people too. That is the kind of government we want. So what is the democracy you're talking about? So you guys should leave these African leaders alone. The three kings. You guys should leave the three kings alone. Because if you tap off those three kings, I will leave that there. It will not come from my mouth. Let's continue here. So let me tell you what Tinubu and Madam Bill, these African bulldog calling themselves leader, are fighting for. Let me show you what they are fighting for.
Taking her wives, but because of difficulty, she did.
The ones that caused Gaddafi's death because Hillary Clinton played a game over there, and I was the one that went over there during the war. Gaddafi asked me to come over. I took a Biden staffer and a Bush staffer and a film crew leader from ABC One in New York, Larry Menti. Menti with me and a cameraman because I didn't want the CIA to set me up. I hand carried the letter back from Gaddafi offering to resign. The U.S. didn't want him to resign. They wanted to kill him. Why? Because Gaddafi, and I met him 3 times. I took Biden on my second trip to Libya, by the way. He went with me when I spoke to the whole country. At every meeting I had with Gaddafi, he wanted 2 things. He wanted to unite the African continent into a group of nations economically, like European gold, like the European economy. He wanted to base it on the gold standard. And the U.S. and Europe didn't want that. And the other thing is they wanted control of his oil and they wanted control of his sovereign wealth. So Gaddafi had to go. That's outrageous and it's wrong.
Yeah, but that I think sounds right to me.
I mean, but we've allowed so many of our kids to be drawn into conflicts, to be killed. And these people doing this they've never served in any capacity in our country. They've never been in the military. They've never served on a fire ground. And it's outrageous that they think they can get away with this and sit back and make all this money.
This is what they want. This is what Tinubu won. This is what Madam Bill won, right? Let's continue. What they are asking for. They are not asking for any better thing for the African continent. They are asking for the destruction of the African continent. Let's see what they want.
Teodoro Obiang Nguema Mbasogo, the president of oil-rich Equatorial Guinea, has been in power for 46 years. He is currently 82 years old, much older than Traoré. Yet the West won't call him a dictator because they benefit from his looting and oil. Paul Biya, the president of Cameroon, has been in power for 43 years. He is currently 91 years old, yet France is fine with him and won't call him a dictator because he is their puppet and does whatever they want. Yoweri Museveni, the president of Uganda, has been in power for 39 years. He is currently 79 years old, yet the West is not trying to remove him because he serves their interests and they benefit from his corruption. Ismail Omar Guelleh, the president of Djibouti, has been in power for 26 years. He is currently 77 years old, yet the Americans don't call him a dictator because his country hosts the largest U.S. military base in Africa. As Thomas Sankara once said, If you see the West praise me, just know that I have betrayed you. The West doesn't go after the leaders who are destroying, looting, and exploiting Africa. They go after the leaders who resist their imperial systems, their neo-colonial control, and those who fight for total economic liberation. They killed Thomas Sankara and supported Blaise Compaoré. They killed Patrice Lumumba and allowed Mobutu Sese Seko to destroy Congo. They killed Muammar Gaddafi, and now Libya is a war-torn, modern slave depot nation. The West only Africa, Teodoro.
So this is what they are fighting for, right? Alongside with their West. This is what Tinubu is fighting for. This is what Madame Bill, these puppets, these Western puppet dog, Negro, this is what they are fighting for. So they speak about democracy. Are those nations democratic nations? Are they? You think we need, look, does this African leader, look, it's going to come to a time in Africa, there will be no elections. And the time is coming. And the time is here. It's going to come a time, there will be no elections. If we find one leader for the people, that person will be in power. Because as long as that person is doing the right thing, there will be no opposition. You that find yourself in opposition, you will be opposition against the entire nation. It's going to come a time, there will be no opposition on the African continent. If we find a leader for the people, of the people and by the people, we ain't got time for no elections. There will be no election. We will keep that leader in place. That leader will be the king, because we are trying to go back to the old days. Because we know the old days before Western civilization that came and colonized, because that's the kind of civilization they gave us. They colonized us, they enslaved us, they killed our leaders, they destroyed our culture, our belief. That's the civilization they gave us. But before they came, what did we practice? And that's why we're going back to our old rulerships. So the time is coming, there will be no elections on the African continent. Because we now believe democracy is a scam. It is used to manipulate us, to put people in power who can serve the interests of the economic community of Western Association State called ECOWAS. So yes, it's going to come a time, there will be no opposition. If you think you find yourself as opposition, you will never get into rulership. Unless that person in power later on decide now to fall back, and then will change you, will take it from there and put somebody there. But there will be no election taking place. Come, time, nearly, soon in Africa, there will be no election. Because as long as that person is doing the right thing, that's all we care about. Because frequent election every 6 years, every 4 years, it means nothing. It's cost 90. It's foolish. It's nonsense. It never improves our life. So if you think we want a democracy where every year people go and vote on a hot sun, on a hot weather, and nothing changed and nothing happened, if you think that's a freedom because people go and vote, that's the kind of democracy we want, we don't want it. Take it back to your Western world and give it to them. And leave Africa alone. It's going to come a time, there will be no election in Africa. If a leader is tired, we take it there and put someone. And if that person come, they few months, and they ain't do nothing, we're taking it from them. And that's the kind of form of government coming in Africa. So you're talking about you're going to take the military leaders to EU. That's a how they call it, a slave on a plantation speaking. So it's a warning to you people. You people are giving warning to military leader is a warning to you people that it's going to come a time there will be no elections on the African continent. No election, absolutely. There will be no elections on the African continent. If we find one leader like Abraham, like Tuareg, like Keita, Abraham, Tiani, if we find a leader like that, those leaders will stay in power till eternity. The West can die. They can do what they want to do. They can die, let them die. We don't care.
It ain't just the murder, it's the timing. Sam Cooke, rumor has it, was going to finance the new civil rights movement. Once King and Malcolm came together, Sam Cooke was going to finance. He died in December 64. Malcolm is killed in February 65. You know why Malcolm had to die from the government side? Malcolm was supposed to keynote a Third World Revolutionaries Conference with Che Guevara in a couple weeks. The U.S. government could not afford Malcolm X and Che Guevara to link up with all these African revolutionaries and Caribbean revolutionaries. Malcolm had to die February 21st to stop him from getting to that revolutionary conference. Dr. King had to die on April 4th to make sure he never gets to the breadbasket campaign. Fred Hampton had to die December of 69. Huey and Bobby and the rest of the Black Panther Party Central Committee had just elected Fred Hampton to be the national and international spokesman for the movement. Could you imagine with Fred Hampton as the international spokesman for the Black Panther Party? Fred Hampton was our last great hope after they murdered King. Remember, they killed King April 68. They killed Fred Hampton the next year, December 69. Fred Hampton was going to be the next great Black leader. He had to die right then and there, because if they would have allowed him to build the momentum as a new international spokesman for the Black Panther Party, who knows where we would be right now. And then after they take out Fred Hampton, 2 years later, George Jackson, Soledad brother, he started a Black Panther Party chapter in prison. And that was part of the reason I believe they had to kill him, because he was politicizing the prisoners. He was doing that anyway. But now he had the support of the Black Panther Party, the most popular grassroots organization at the time. Patrice Lumumba 61, Medgar Evers 63, Malcolm 65, King 68, Hampton 69, George Jackson 71. I believe that was the metaphorical and symbolic end of the Black Liberation, Black Panther Party era.
So you African puppet, backing like a bulldog, this is what exactly you are fighting for, alongside with your master. Do you see the game of your master? Do you see the game of your slave master? Still want to be on a slave plantation. And this is just some. This is just some of their doing. But do you see anytime African want to stand, African want to rise up? But you know, this will not happen to Abraham Tiwari and to any African leader, whether back home or in the diaspora. It's not going to happen again. Because we know the enemies and we know the aim of the enemy. The reason why most of these things been happening, because the masses did not yet identify the enemies. But now we know. We know the enemies are not on the sea or in the sky or some kind of dragon. We know. We know them. And as they think they are coming for us, we are going for them. You take one, we take yours. That's the mentality of this generation. So you African leaders, you are on the wrong side. You are absolutely on the wrong side. You African leaders that are backing like a bulldog, you are on the wrong side. It's not going to help you. Let's continue.
Kind of people will wake up in the morning to go and make weapons to kill other people. Are you okay? You come to Africa, you dig up the whole place and leave mining dumps, poisoning rivers with cyanide, only to bring the gold and put it in a warehouse somewhere here you call a vault. You come to Africa, you kill animals, only to collect the horns and leaving the meat to rot on the ground. Are you okay? And then when they see us putting on skins like this, they want to look like they're conservationists. No, you can't be putting on animal skins. But you're sitting on a leather chair with leather shoes, with a leather belt. Are you okay in your head? With a leather car. What kind of hypocrisy is that? You pollute the whole world with carbon. Then you come around and say, please, let's do some green energy. Shut your industries up if you're talking about green energy. You have lied to us for too long. And the honeymoon of lies is over.
Yeah, it's over. It's over. You guys better start getting used to it because it's over. We are not singing song, or we are not just here making videos. We are letting you to know, or we are letting you know that it's over. It's done. Your time is here. Your end time is here. It's over. And some of you dumb African leaders, stop fighting the wrong battle. It's over. We are not going to sit and watch. We are tired of being insulted, taken advantage of, exploited. We are tired. It's enough. It just have to come to an end. That's it. We are tired of being silent. We are tired of being stepped upon and killed for no reason. We are being killed because of our own resources. For what? We are not protected because of our look. The beautiful look. Other people look at themselves, they can never be us, and they're jealous of that. We are tired. We now know. So we are going to fight back in every way. The better it will be for you if you can just leave African people alone. If you can just leave Black people alone to do their thing, it will be better for you. And in it, you will also benefit. Because the truth is, we are not like you people. We will give to you. We will share with you. We are not like you people who will destroy things, who will destroy people and take. We care less to do with that. We will share with you. We just want the earth to be peaceful and everyone live in harmony. We don't have to destroy any other nations. There's no time in history where we destroy other races for their resources. No time in history. We share. And that is why when you came to the African continent, we did not look at you as any other person. We share with you. We share our culture with you. We share our way of life. When you came, you met our diamond, you met our gold ring, earring. You met it with us. That's why when you came to Africa, our kings and queens have diamond. We have gold. It was not a white man or a European that came and gave us civilization before we got to know how to mine gold or diamond. We did these things. Iron ore. It was not a white man who came to Africa to me to know that, hey, this thing is an iron ore. No. We did those things. Didn't we use steel to cultivate our farms before the white man came to Africa? We knew how to melt irons. We knew it. They came, they saw these things, they were confused. They were confused. We showed them these things. They did not know what diamond was. We showed it to them. They never knew what gold was. We showed it to them when they saw gold with our kings and queens. They never knew what gold reserve was. We have gold reserve in Timbuktu, Mali today. They saw gold reserve there. Ghana, the Gold Coast of Africa, they saw gold reserve. Before they start having gold reserve in France, in Great Britain, in the US, they saw it in Africa. We told them, we showed it to them what reserve is before they start having reserve. And you know what they did? After the enslavement, they came by the colonizers. That's the time they took our gold reserve. They took it to France, they took it to the US. They took it to England and start having reserve. They learned from us. We never learn from them. They were confused. Where this thing came from? What kind of mineral is this? How you made this? How you mine this? They never brought our tools. We use our own tools to mine gold. And diamond earring, we have these things. They never show it to us. They never brought civilization. They destroy our civilizations. They destroy our existence. They destroy it. When France started having gold reserve, 1884, when they colonized Africa, that's the time they start taking the gold from Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger. They start taking it. They say, oh, so you can reserve these things. They took it to France. Oh, so you can reserve these things. They took it to the US. Oh, so you can reserve these things. They took it to England. They never have gold reserve. All because of our generosity. They took advantage of us. We are not like them. They are the demon, the enemies the Bible spoke of.
Now, I would allow you guys to listen to it, pay attention and open your mind, understand for yourself. Okay? Well, after watching it, make sure you share so that everybody will see and know the kind of evil that these people has been doing to humanity. Now, watch the video for yourself carefully to the end. Okay? I'll see you in my next video. My name is Salosin.
Most of you don't know that coronavirus as a model of a pathogen was isolated in 1965. Coronavirus was identified in 1965 as one of the first infectious replicatable.
Now, the reason why I brought this video to add it to this discussion is a reason. And I made a statement, I said, they are the devil the Bible speaks of. So you see, coronavirus came, right? And they told you it was China. It came from China, right? Okay. And I think I did a presentation on this before. That they took it to China. Because they took the virus from here and they was trying to do some, how do you call it? They were trying to finalize their experiment, and they didn't want to do it here. So they took it to China, and there was a leak But that virus was made in the US here. Now, when it came out, and most of you believe it's something from heaven. I don't know where that out of heaven. Why will disease from heaven, the same God that say he love you, this, that, still create disease from heaven to come and destroy you? So if he create disease from heaven to come and destroy you, then his creation, the earth, who will inherit the earth? Because it's the same Bible that says he put men and women on this earth to procreate. That was one of his purpose of creating Adam and Eve. Let's just go back to the Bible now. That was one of the purpose of creating a man and a woman. So when he had a man in the garden, he said, no, I got to fill out this earth. So he created the female, right? For them to procreate. So if God sends sickness, disease on earth to come and wipe the entire earth, what will become his creation? His creation failed. Just put in that scenario. Now, you see, when coronavirus came, the same media told you they don't know about it. But now you see here, these people created virus in the 60s. This coronavirus in the 60s. And you see, after the 2019 coronavirus, you have Bill Gates saying the next epidemic, right? So as we speak, they might be working on the next epidemic or the next pandemic to come. They might be working on it. Because the reality here is the 2019 coronavirus, the way in which they thought it was going to be, it did not come that way, right? It never happened the way in which they thought it was going to. The New World Order. And then he said the next pandemic going to be more than the 2019 coronavirus. This is to tell you how evil and demonic these people are. It is the same Bill Gates that is going to the African continent talking about he want go create rice or create food, and he want invest in agriculture to go poison African people. If to say we can make our own farm. Look at today Burkina Faso. They are taking matter into their own hand. If all African nations are starving, the Sahel nation are not starving today because of those great leaders. So you see, coronavirus was in the 60s. These people created that virus in the 60s. So listen to this. How demonic and evil these people are.
Viral models that created in 1965. Coronavirus was identified in 1965 as one of the first infectious replicatable viral models that could be used to modify a series of other experiences of the human condition. It was isolated once upon a time associated with the common cold. But what's particularly interesting about its isolation in 1965 was that it was immediately identified as a pathogen that could be used and modified for a whole host of reasons. And you heard me correctly, that was 1965. And by the way, these slides are public domain. You're welcome to look at every single reference. Every comment that I made is based on published material. So do make sure that you look at those references. But in 1966, the very first COV coronavirus model was used as a transatlantic biological experiment in human manipulation.
Was used in 1966 as a transatlantic. Does that sound familiar? The transatlantic slave trade. Do you see that? Transatlantic in 1966. bioweapon. You see that? So 2019 coronavirus was not the first one. 1966, coronavirus was used as a transatlantic, right, means of destroying African people. But you know what? It was not as effective as the 2019. So what they did from 1966, they start working on improving the dose. So do you see, that's why 2019, when it came, they said the African continent is going to wipe out the African continent. Those videos are there. And we spoke about it. We said, why these people only focus on the African continent? If it is a worldwide disease, why they only focus how it's going to kill African, how it's going to depopulate African, how it's going to destroy African, how it's going to wipe out African. What you fail to understand here is the aim of these people is to wipe out the entire African continent so that they can go and inherit it. They did it to Asia in 1948. They tried to do it in South Africa before South Africa gained independence in 1994. They tried to do it in Namibia. But you know, when you speak on these things, and then some dumb and stupid African will come and tell you it's how they call it conspiracy theory. When you are looking at the reality, you are looking at the truth, and it will say it's conspiracy. Let me just tell you, in 1966, they used it as a transatlantic, how they call it, bioweapon. He just told you. And then from 1966 up to 2019, they worked to increase its effectiveness. And that's why they were so sure that, yes, this time we got the African people. We will destroy them. And that's why they came to say it's going to kill Africans. It will kill the African continent. Why you think, even apart from the African continent, in the diaspora, they all spoke, they said it will destroy African black people. They said it's going to destroy black people. It is a virus that will not spare black people. Because they knew what they put in there, it was something to destroy your melanin. They knew. But the truth is, the experiment or the science was not properly done. That's why they wanted to use bat. You know why they wanted to use bat? Because bat is black. And black, and bat almost have the same DNA as human. Bat. As melanin. The bat. So, the way in which it was going to affect the bat, that's how it was going to affect black people. Because the DNA, the melanin of black people is bat too have the same melanin in it. But so that's why the bat that was in the US, it was different from the bat of the melanin in black people. So you know what they did? They did a research and they found a bat, that form of bat, that had the melanin of black in China. And that's how they took it to China to do the experiment there. And that's how it leaked. You see, our ancestors are not asleep. And then, if it was the experiment was going to be successful, then now it was going to take the virus to the African continent. You think Ebola then that came, it was something natural things, Ebola then? And you African leader, you still sit down here and work on the side of the West against your own interest, against leader who wants rise Africa. You all sit down here and work against leader who are fighting for the liberation of the African continent and the African masses, both home and abroad. You all sit down there and watch the United States kill Gaddafi, who was working for African both home and abroad. You all sit down there and watch it, and you all don't speak about it. You see systematically how these people have been working to destroy the African race. And then some of you will come again and come and say conspiracy theory when you are looking at the reality.
And you heard the date, 1966. I hope you're getting the point of what I'm saying. This is not an overnight thing. This is actually something that's been long in the making. A year before I was born, we had the first transatlantic coronavirus data sharing experiment between the United States and the United Kingdom. And in 1967, the year I was born.
So you heard that. And who are these people? They say colonizer, they say enslaver. Look, I mean, look at this. The United States and UK, Europe, EU. This whole transatlantic, or how they call it, bioweapon things. These are the same colonizer. You see? Do you see the battle we are fighting?
We did the first human trials on inoculating people with modified coronavirus. Isn't that amazing? 56 years ago, the overnight success of a pathogen that's been 56 years in engineering. And I want that to chill with all of you. Where were we when we actually allowed, in violation of biological and chemical weapons treaties, where were we as a human civilization when we thought it was?
And by the way, let me make this clear. Let me make this clear. And a comment I'm going to make here. Let me make this disclaimer. All right. I am not speaking in favor of Iran, right? Iran, right? But you see, these are the same people who have the audacity. And some of you Africans, this message go to you people. Because some of you there talking about, oh, Iran, US have the right to bomb Iran because Iran want to have nuclear weapon. Do you know since when the US been talking about Iran having nuclear weapon? Benjamin Yeti. Do you know since when? Since Bill Clinton time, they've been talking about Iran. Oh, in the next few months or 3 months, Iran going to be having nuclear weapon. Iran never had nuclear weapon. Obama time they said Iran going to have nuclear weapon. They went and bombed the place. No nuclear weapon. George Bush time, oh, Iran going to have nuclear weapon. They bomb it. No nuclear weapon. The truth of the matter here is the same way they are fighting the African continent. There's a resources in Iran. Major resources. That's what they want. And the plan here is to have in a puppet government the current prince of Iran. That's a research I have done, by the way. But I can't show it here because we have a lot of talk. Because that is not something I want to talk about, but I'm just bringing it in. The current prince of Iran is the person that the US want to use, allegedly. Let me use that word again. So you're on the safe side. Because we know who we're dealing with, right? Allegedly. That's the person they want to use to put in power as a puppet government. And this prince have also spoken. He has spoken that, oh, the government of Iran should try to practice democracy. You see? You see? The government of Iran should try to practice democracy. She tried to surround her. But now new, the plan have already been made to use him to be the next leader for Iran, to remove the current leader from Iran and put him there. You see? But some of you African leaders don't learn. Some of you African leaders and some of you African journalists or reporter, or some of you even common African, y'all don't learn. Y'all don't reason. When they said Gaddafi was treating his own people, when they said Gaddafi was a dictator, you believe that at first, right? Fine, we give it to you. But later on, I just played a video today. These same people came and told you it was not for the reason they killed Gaddafi. They killed Gaddafi because Gaddafi wanted one currency. Gaddafi wanted one army. Gaddafi wanted one unified Africa. That's why they killed Gaddafi. In etc., etc., etc. That's why they killed Gaddafi. Now they are speaking the reason why they killed Gaddafi. And then today, they still come out to tell you X, Y, Z, and you still want to believe them without you doing your own research and try to understand. But today, some of you are there because you feel you are Christian. You feel those people in Israel, they are the true Israelites. Those people, the Bible called them synagogue of Satan. The people in Israel right now, they are Satan. The Bible refers to them as synagogues of Satan. You read the same Bible and you don't understand it. You preach the same Bible and you don't understand it. Today, since Bill Clinton, they've been talking about Iran about to build a nuclear weapon. The plan is to remove the current government and put the current prince of Iran in power to get the resources. Iran have one of the, it's there, go do your research. And that's what the imperialists want. You see it? But my point I want to make here is, they say Iran have nuclear weapon, right? Okay, fine. But when have there been a time in history that Iran have created bioweapon specifically to destroy people? When have there been a time in history that Iran been bombing other nations? Unless you go and pick for Iran, unless you go and bomb Iran, then Iran retaliate. But when in history, but we can put in history like what you just see here, what you hear, what you're watching. These are the people who are dangerous, not Iran. Not Iran. These are the people who are dangerous, who just sit there and create bioweapons to destroy a whole race, to destroy an entire continent. Look at what is going on. Iran does not have nuclear weapon. Do you see what is going on? And I'm not speaking in favor of Iran, no. But I'm just telling you, as in relating to the African continent, as they are framing the Sahel nations, Abraham Traore, Assimi Goïta, and Tiani, as they are framing them as the worst form of government, they are Gentile. Have there not been military takeover? Liberia, there was military takeover. What became of Liberia? Is Liberia now still one of the poorest countries in the world? Nigeria, there was military takeover. What is there still in Nigeria today? Yes, there are some level of development, but Nigeria is still one of the poorest countries in the world. If we want to talk about in terms of GDP or in terms of resources for the people, Nigeria is one of the poorest countries in the world. We're not talking about a few elite or people who try to manage and struggle on their own to get there and start making life for themselves. But we are talking about resources. Why? Is the resources benefiting the people? No, Nigeria is one of the poorest. Still living on loan. Still living on Washington, D.C. That is why you see Tinubu there backing like a bulldog to get crumbs. While the resources are there. So Nigeria forms part of the poorer country in the world. Nigeria is not supposed to be poor. Nigeria is supposed to be more than Dubai. Nigeria is supposed to be more than the US, more than Europe. Nigeria is supposed to be more than Dubai. But Nigeria is among the poorest. That is why the leaders back down when their slave masters speak. So you see who they're bumping the war. You see who are the threat. Who are the people who are the threat to the war. These are people that just sit and create bioweapon to go and destroy people. These are people that sit and created HIV to destroy South Africa. 1994. The virus is there. We show it here. HIV was created to destroy South Africans, because they thought when Nelson Mandela took power, Africans of Africa were going to draft away white people, or they were going to take the land from the 9% of white who have 100% of the land. So it was a mean to infect black people, and they took that in Namibia. They took it. Go to the research and see. These are the terrorists who are dangerous to the world. But they will come by and can't tell you, these are the people, these are the people. And you sit down and you believe them. But you don't ask yourself, well, every day you're talking about Iran, every day you're talking about these people. Since when have Iran ever bombed any places? Since when have Iran ever bombed, create a bioweapon and kill people? Since when? Ask this question.
An acceptable thing to do to take a pathogen for the United States and infect the world with it? Where was that conversation? And what should have been that conversation? An acceptable thing to do to take a pathogen for the United States.
Oh, you heard that? You heard that? They took it from the U.S. You heard that? COVID in 1966.
And infect the world with it. Where was that conversation? And what should have been that conversation in 1967? That conversation wasn't had. Ironically, the common cold was turned into a chimera in the 1970s. And in 1975, 1976, and 1977, we started figuring out how to modify coronavirus by putting it into different animals, pigs and dogs. And not surprisingly, by the time we got to 1990, we found out that coronavirus as an infectious agent was an industrial problem for two primary industries, the industries of dogs and pigs. Dog breeders and pigs found that coronavirus created gastrointestinal problems, and that became the basis for Pfizer's first spike protein vaccine patent, filed, are you ready for this, in 1990. Did you hear what I just said? 1990. Operation Warp Speed? I'm sorry. Where's the warp and the speed? Pfizer, 1990, the very first spike protein vaccine for coronavirus. Isn't that fascinating? Isn't it fascinating that we were told that, well, the spike protein is a new thing. We just found out that that's the problem. No. As a matter of fact, we didn't just find out.
So you see, during the coronavirus, they brought in Pfizer. They said, oh, we just did it. But you see, during that time in 1966, 1967, Pfizer was used as a cure for the coronavirus. But 2019, they brought the coronavirus. First, they said there was no cure, no vaccine. And then later, they brought Pfizer and said, oh, we just found this. You see? So, Pfizer did exist 1966, 1967. So 2019 was not a time people heard about Pfizer. You see that?
It was not just now the problem. We found that out in 1990 and filed the first patents on vaccines in 1990 for the spike protein of coronavirus. And who would have thought? Pfizer. Clearly the innocent organization that does nothing but promote human health. Clearly Pfizer. The organization that has not bought the votes in this chamber and in every chamber of every government around the world. Not that Pfizer. Certainly, they wouldn't have had anything to do with this. But oh, yes, they did. And in 1990, they found out that there was a problem with vaccines. They didn't work. You know why they didn't work? it turns out that coronavirus is a very malleable model. It transforms and it changes and it mutates over time. As a matter of fact, every publication on vaccines for coronavirus from 1990 until 2018, every single publication concluded that coronavirus escapes the vaccine impulse because it modifies and mutates too quickly for vaccines to be effective. And since 1990 to 2018, that is the published science, ladies and gentlemen. That's following the science. Following the science is their own indictment of their own programs that said it doesn't work. And there are thousands of publications to that effect, not a few hundred, and not paid for by pharmaceutical companies. These are publications that are independent scientific research that shows unequivocally, including efforts of the chimera modifications made by Ralph Baric in the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. All of them show vaccines do not work on coronavirus. That's the science. And that science has never been disputed. But then we had an interesting development in 2002. And this date is most important because in 2002, the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill patented, and I quote, an infectious replication defective clone of coronavirus. Listen to those words, infectious replication defective. What does that phrase actually mean? For those of you not familiar with language, let me unpack it for you. Infectious replication defective means a weapon. It means something meant to target an individual, but not have collateral damage to other individuals. That's what infectious replication defective means. And that patent was filed in 2002 on work funded by NIAID's Anthony Fauci from 1999 to 2002. And that work, patented at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, mysteriously preceded SARS 1.0 by a year. Dave, are you suggesting that SARS...
So you wonder why now Anthony Fauci became the sole preparator, right? The sole focus of Fauci. How do you call it? How do you call it? Fauci or Fauci? Vaccine? So you see, 1992, there's Anthony Fauci working on this thing. Is that a coincidence? 1992. You see? I will take this out. Let's continue here. But we already connected the dot. You see the wickedness that goes on in the world. That is why we Africans, and that is why Abraham Tuari, that's why they don't like Abraham Tuari, because there are a whole lot of things the Shahed nations are working on to become their own doctors. And that is why Abraham Tuari is saying he wants to create the Shahed nation where they will become their own engineer, their own doctor. You don't have to go to the West to any land to become doctor. Timbuktu, Mali. Do you know the history of Timbuktu? Do you know the history of Mali? These are the places they are so-called Socrates when a land. These are the places they are so-called Alexander the Great when a land. These are the places they are so-called a great, how they call it, Greek philosopher when a land. Timbuktu, Mali. Today Mali, but Timbuktu. And that is why Abraham Tuari wanted, the Shahed nation want to bring those things back. And they don't want it. That is why Abraham Tuari said, freedom, when you talk about liberation, when you talk about freedom, if you want to be free from the colonizer, you have to take everything. And taking everything, that means you have to be responsible for yourself. Because you can never talk about decolonization, right? And at the same time, you still go to the colonizer for treatment. Does it make sense? That's why they don't want the AES to exist. Because you can never talk about decolonization. You can never talk about taking your land back, your resources, everything, your mind, your diamond, your gold. Then you still go back to the colonizer for treatment when you're sick. Because your colonizer will inject you with disease, with sickness. That is why they don't want those leaders to exist. And you have these puppet African leaders barking like a dog in ECOWAS, barking like a bulldog in ECOWAS. I will take this out because we have a lot to discuss, but I will put it in the link.
Recently declassified information, the CIA's own website, where they admit that the U.S. government was deeply involved in the overthrow or assassination of Prime Minister Mossadegh of Iran, President Allende of Chile, Arbenz of Guatemala, Diem of Vietnam, Lumumba of the Congo.
Now, that's what I wanted to play. That's an economic hitman, by the way. To the African leaders again. This man just said his government did play a role in the assassination of Patrick Lumumba. And today, DRC Congo, the same nation that was the cause, today, DRC Congo is in a stage, is in the United States, played a part in the assassination of a democratic leader, Patrick Lumumba. The CIA, the United States government, played a role in killing him. And today, you go to that same government, give your resources to them in exchange of peace. So DRC Congo just confirmed to the African people that yes, the United States played a role in destroying DRC Congo and killing Patrick Lumumba. So the United States hold the peace of DRC Congo. So therefore, we are going to give the resources to the US, to which they kill Patrick Lumumba for. We will give you the resources so that you can leave our country alone. DRC Congo just confirmed to us, because this man just confirmed to us that the US, the CIA, also killed Patrick Lumumba. The CIA is also part of the destruction of DRC Congo today. And you want us to go against the Shahid nation? Hell no. We will go against any leader of the world that go against the Shahid nation. It can even be African leaders. Any leader that go against the Shahid nation, we are coming for you. No relent, no retreat, no surrender. We are coming for you. You better leave those leaders alone. And the reason why some of these African puppet leaders are going against the Shahid, it's not because they think the Shahid nations or leaders are doing the wrong thing. No. The reason why they are going against those leaders is because those leaders are exposing them. The reason why Madam Bio, because the president of Sierra Leone, he is a woman. I might even be thinking he might be a gay. And that's why we gave him the name Madam, M-A-D-A, and Madam Bio. He's not going against the Sahel nation because those leaders are doing the wrong thing. He's going against them because Madam Bio been in power since 2018 and he have done nothing. But here is a man that came to power in 2022, have done a lot in his country than Madam Bio, who been in power since 2018. That's a shame and shock to them. These leaders have proven to these African puppet that Africa does not actually need democracy. They have been exposed. There's going to come a time in Africa, there will be no election in Africa. There will be no election here. There's going to come a time you bring about election in Africa, we will stone you to death because it's going to be a crime. It's going to come a time in Africa, you talk about elections in Africa, will stone you to death. Because it's going to come a time, election in Africa is going to be the crime against humanity.
Mother Bill, the president of Sierra Leone, is a crazy and corrupt, the most corrupt leaders in Africa. He's a corrupt leader. He's a dictator. When he come publicly and say that President Ibrahim Traoré must step down, he is foolish. Julius Maada Bio is man. He's a corrupt. He's a dictator. He's a criminal. This guy is in power since 2018, and he did nothing from 2018 still now. His people in this country is starving. Kids dying. People is hungry. Misery. Poverty is too much because of bad governance. He's a dictator. How come? Where he gets the power to intimidate Ibrahim Traoré? You, Mr. Julius, I have no respect for you. You have to understand Africa does not belong to imperialism. Africa does not belong to the West. Africa belongs to Africans, and you must stand up and shake your hands and follow the vision of our brother Ibrahim Traoré. You cannot fight Ibrahim Traoré because Traoré now is a leader, is a legitimate president of Burkina Faso. And his people love him. We love Ibrahim. We are with Ibrahim. Me and all my soldiers and my people in Angola, we are with the Ibrahim Traoré. In Angola, I fight also the corrupt regime, the dictator regime, the terrorist regime of dictator João Lourenço. That is your friend, is a friend of this man. This is Julius Maada Bio. You cannot tell Ibrahim Traoré what he has to do. Ibrahim Traoré is the president, and he don't need you to tell what he can do in his country. You must take care of your business in your country, Mr. Julius Maada Bio. Take care of your people that is dying, your people that claim democracy. No democracy in your country, no democracy in Angola, no democracy in Burkina Faso. That's why Ibrahim Traoré took the guys out of power and implant right now the rights of the people. Ibrahim Traoré is doing the right things. And you, Mr. Julio Maada Bio, you must step down, back off, and let Ibrahim Traoré do the business for his country, not you. It seems to me that you are acting for the interest of the West, of the imperialism. Africa, unite. Think that. Africa must be united and not divided. Right now, you try to intimidate. You took the power of the ECOWAS. But ECOWAS belongs to all Africans, not only for you. Even President Goita, President Chiani, and President Ibrahim Traoré, they are members of the ECOWAS. And they must have the voice to tell how Africa must be drive on the path. So right now, you must step down, Mr. Julius Maada Bio, because you have business to do in your country. Take care of your country. Let me tell you this. You cannot intimidate no leaders in Africa. I am also a freedom fighter. I fight for the liberation of Angola. And this guy that took the power in Angola, João Lourenço, is a dictator. And he is your president of the African Union. Since 2022, he's in power, João Lourenço, since 2016. And now the country is totally devastated. It's like your country in Sierra Leone, the people's dying, no food, no nothing, hungry, no democracy. People claim democracy in your country. Take care of the in your country and let President Ibrahim Traoré to fix the country that you guys have done against all of African nations. Brother Ibrahim Traoré, I'm General Contreras. I am with you. We stand with you. We are with you. Keep strong. Never give up. Stay strong and take care of your business, your country, and your people. We are together on this fight. Africa, unite. We are against the colonialism. We are against the terrorism. We are against corruption, and we are against imperialism. My brother Ibrahim, you have my support and my soldiers, and you have the support of all black African nations with you. You are not alone. We are with you. I have your back. General Contreras, keep strong, Ibrahim Traoré.
Here that you have to watch out for. This is a double-headed snake. Let me tell you, this is the same brother, Julius Maada Bio, who actually is the president of ECOWAS right now, that's going against the grain on Ibrahim Traoré. After last year when you shook his hand and agreed with everything that he had going, to see you turn around and serve the puppets and sell your people out and become a traitor is disgusting to me. And if you ever think that the people of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, and Guinea will bow down and go back into them slave chains that they had us under, you are out your freaking mind, boy. And I'm telling you, man, you mess with Ibrahim Traoré, you mess with the whole world. You're not only messing with West Africa, you're messing with America, you're messing with Haiti, you're messing with Jamaica, you're messing with something that you can't even deal with right now. And I guarantee you, you would not last long. The Gen Z generation right now, they are different. Everybody want to rise. Everybody is getting tired of being sold out by you puppets that do anything for foreign interests. These people don't give a damn about you. They may pay you to bring your people down, but the people won't continue to keep going down. Can y'all just imagine what Ibrahim Traoré goes through every day when you got cowards like this guinea pig right here that'll do anything for the French, that's going to keep on supplying them with whatever he needs to try to accomplish their mission. The heart, the soul, the mind, the people in Burkina Faso and Mali, we are smarter than y'all, and y'all are actually demonic, and we are godly, and y'all will not win this war with us, man. I'm telling you, you better back down and you better resign. That's the best thing you can do. Because messing with Ibrahim Traoré, I guarantee you, if I was in Africa right now,
You have been found guilty on all charges. Is there something you could tell the court before pronouncement of your sentence? Only one.
Now, this video, right, as I'll put it, right, our brother speaking down there is actually Ibrahim Traoré, right? Let me just put it that way. Our brother speaking down there is Ibrahim Traoré. And then the white dude, the white nigger speaking down there, right? That's the African puppet.
Want is freedom. That's all we want. Freedom. Freedom for children to learn. Freedom for men to work. For mothers to love. For a nation to grow. That's all we want. Equality. For everyone. You see, I am just one of many. A foot soldier. Many, many more to follow. So, there is no court of law, no police force, no army that will stop the tide of revolution from turning. There is no punishment that you can lay out in this court. No law, no government can pass that will kill the will of the people. Because we will fight. We will continue to fight until all our people are free. And maybe we can even free you from yourselves. So you can hate us. One day, we will be free.
So that is a message to the African bulldog, like a barking like dog. There's nothing you can do that will stop us. This is freedom time. And in it, maybe it will even free you and your generation too. But there's nothing you can do. No retreat, no surrender. Even your slave master know their end time have come. The prophecies is here. It is a battle that they will never win again. And never. So you puppet African leaders are fighting the wrong battle. And you are putting your family in danger. Stop doing that. Because they will never be safe anywhere.
You say Russian mercenaries. Well, what is French Légion étrangère? Aren't they mercenaries? What is American Blackwater Academy? What is British G4S? What is Israeli Black Cube? They are security companies. Wagner is a threat. Why? Because Wagner isn't yours. And the terrorism issue, who created this terror? Who founded Al-Qaeda? 1980s, Afghanistan, CIA, Pakistan ISI, Saudi money against Soviets. Bin Laden was CIA's man. You called them freedom fighters. Who supported Taliban? Again, you. Heroic mujahideen against Soviet occupation. You gave weapons, gave money, gave training, then you lost control. How was ISIS born? 2003, Iraq invasion. You toppled Saddam. You disbanded the army. You banned Ba'ath Party. You tortured in Abu Ghraib, and those people became ISIS. Then Syria. You said Assad must go. You said moderate rebels. You gave weapons. Those weapons went to ISIS, went to al-Nusra. You destroyed Libya. Who looted Gaddafi's weapon depots? Where did those weapons go? To Mali, to Niger, to Burkina Faso, to Nigeria, to Chad? Who strengthened Boko Haram? In 2009, Nigerian police killed their leader, Mohammed Yusuf. Extrajudicial execution. What did you say? Nothing. Where were your human rights organizations? Silent. Then revenge started. Boko Haram radicalized. But where did they find weapons? From Libya that you destroyed. And now you come to lecture us about fighting terrorism. You're helping us clean up the monsters you created. No, we've seen the game now. Terror is your Trojan horse. You come with the excuse of terror, you stay, you exploit. But it's over now. We'll provide our own security, we'll fight with our own methods, and we'll win. Because we are the children of this land. We know this land, we know these people. We can distinguish terrorist from villager. We don't fight from drones, from satellites, from 10,000 kilometers away like you. And we're winning. In Mali, in Niger, in Burkina Faso, terror is ending. Villages are safe. People are hopeful. Because now our own army, our own police are fighting, not for foreigners, but for the people. But you can't digest this. You say democratic backsliding. You say human rights violations. Which democracy? Which human rights? How many people are detained without trial in Guantanamo? What happened in Abu Ghraib? Who did you kill in Bagram? Who did you torture in CIA's black sites? Why is Julian Assange in prison for exposing your war crimes? Why did Chelsea Manning spend years in prison for leaking the truth? Why is Edward Snowden a fugitive for revealing you spy on everyone? And you lecture us about human rights. How many civilians died in your drone strikes? You say collateral damage and move on. How many weddings did you strike in Pakistan, Yemen, Somalia? How many schools did you bomb? How many hospitals did you burn? And you teach us the laws of war? Look, I come from war. I know the front. I've seen death. I've carried wounded soldiers. I've consoled mothers of martyrs. And I tell you, a real soldier protects his people. A real soldier doesn't harm civilians. A real soldier fights with honor. Your mercenaries, your drone pilots, your special forces, they're not soldiers, they're killers. They kill people by pressing buttons from 10,000 kilometers away, then go home and play with their children. We don't fight like that. We look our enemy in the face. We protect civilians. We fight with our honor. We die with our honor. And we'll win, because the righteous win. Because those who fight with their people win. Because those who fight for their land win. Let's return to your media. I know how you work. I have friends who work within the system. There are journalists with conscience, but they stay silent. Why? Because the system silences them. Those who write the truth get fired. Investigative journalists are laid off due to budget cuts. Dissenting columnists are shown the door because reader interest has declined. And what replaces them? Experts from think tanks, NGOs, universities, all saying the same thing, all defending the same thesis. West is good, Africa is bad. So who are these experts? Where do they get their funding? National Endowment for Democracy, NED, American Democracy Exporter, CIA's legal arm, has fingers everywhere, funds opposition, directs media, creates civil society. Open Society Foundations, George Soros's organization, says open society, but open for whom? Open to what? Open to exploitation, open to intervention, open to manipulation. Ford Foundation, Rockefeller Foundation, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, all in Africa, doing aid. But what do they get in return? Control, data, influence, and your media is their trumpet. You headline, Gates is saving Africa, but you don't say how many African children were paralyzed by Gates's vaccine trials, how many farmers committed suicide because of Monsanto seeds. You're masters at storytelling, but always the same story, white savior. Remember Live Aid, 1985. We Are the World, charity concert for Africa, millions raised. What came to Africa? Corruption increased, dependency increased, but it was a great story for you. Bob Geldof became a hero. Musicians looked conscientious. Viewers felt good about themselves. Africa remained hungry. Remember Kony 2012? Viral video. Stop Joseph Kony. 100 million views. Result? Kony is still free, but the video maker got rich. Invisible Children organization collected millions. What came to Uganda? American soldiers. And you present these as success stories. Angelina Jolie, Madonna, Bono, all Africa volunteers. They come, take photos, adopt children, leave. And you say, interest in Africa increased. What interest? Whose interest? Interest for what? Madonna adopted from Malawi. You made headlines. But 100 children die from malaria every day in Malawi. You didn't write that because that news doesn't sell. Bono became Africa's spokesperson, raised billions with U2 concerts, but moved his company to Netherlands to avoid taxes. Money stolen from Africa also passes through Netherlands. Did you write about this? George Clooney campaigned for Darfur, said save Darfur. Result? Sudan split. Oil remained in
This is the kind of leader we want. And this is the kind of leader to inspire the next generation of African leaders. We do not want, in fact, Tinubu, look, if any Africans be inspired by Tinubu, you will be a failure to the African continent. And in fact, you will be a failure to your own family. If any Africans, youth in this current time, be inspired by Mother Bill, you'll be a failure to the African continent. You'll be a failure to your own nation. And you'll be a failure to any generation to change their life. of Africans. But if an African child is inspired by Abraham Traore, by Keita, by Tiani, you'll become a great leader for your people, for your nation, and for your continent. And these are the people we want to be inspired by. We do not want to be inspired by people who bark around here like dog. We do not want to be inspired by puppet and then be called colonial puppet. I don't want to be called colonial puppet. Because colonial puppet means dog, a pet. Like I said, puppet are two words, a French and an English word. Pet, P-E-T is a pet. It's an animal. And a P-U-P in French, it means small. So if they call you a puppet, it means you are a Western dog, Western pet, Western cat, Western animal. Serving as a president on the African continent, a pet. So I do not want to be identified as a Western pet. If I am to be identified as a Western, as a pet, let me be identified as African pet. So henceforth in that scenario and analysis, Abraham Traore is an African pet, and we love it. Abraham Traore is a Burkinabe pet, and we love it. As long he's not a pet of the West, he's a pet for Africans. We love it. As long Tiani is a pet for Africa and for African and benefiting African people, we love it. As long Tiani is a pet, an African pet, Malian pet, Burkinabe pet, Nigerian pet, we love it. As long he's not Washington DC pet or EU pet or Western pet, we love it. As long those people are not given a democracy that will oppress their people, but as long they are giving a democracy that will liberate, redeem us from the chaos and calamity, the circumstances we're in, we love it. Oh, you love Obama when Obama served as a pet for Washington, DC, right? You love Bill Gates when Bill Gates served as a pet for US. You love Bush when Bush served as US pet. You love all these Western leaders when they serve as pet for their prospective country. So why not can we love African leader who will serve as African pet for their people? We have come to realize that now. We have come to realize it. We are not saying your leader shouldn't love your country. So why when our leader love our country, love our continent, love our people, then you call them all kind of names? So if you say Abraham Traore is a dictator, so are you telling me Obama was a dictator? George Bush was a dictator? Bill Clinton was a dictator? Are you telling us that? You Jimmy Papa. If we were once stupid, we have come to that point now, we are no longer stupid. Let's watch the last video and we'll call it for the day. Our sister have a message for us, a very great message. Sit, relax, get your popcorn, and listen to this wonderful and beautiful queen, what she's about to spill out here. Like I said, this generation, I just love how we are waking up. I love it. I love it.
still facing in the world today is that we don't understand the people we're dealing with. You people still don't understand who these people are. These people will shape shift to whatever to get whoever's attention. You're not even sure the religion they're practicing. If they know that cosplaying as a Christian is what would get them the attention to give them the excuse to do whatever they want to do, they will do it. I heard some people like talking about how they don't understand why Donald Trump had to bomb Iran during this war. Like it's not his business. The war is between Israel and Iran. Netanyahu said something. He said, "Today is Tel Aviv, tomorrow is New York." Now, anybody listening, an average mind would be like, "Oh my God, they're bombing Tel Aviv today. That is the Iranians, and tomorrow they'll bomb Iraq." Maybe not tomorrow. Like, okay, when they're done here, they'll go over here. If you know anything about how these people operate, you know that that's not what he means. He's threatening Donald Trump. That was a threat that he's going to attack New York. Before you be like, "Oh, I'm talking crazy," that's not the first time Israel is attacking America. Exhibit A. Number one. On June 8th, 1967, the USS Liberty came under attack from an unknown military, but they were on Egyptian waters. Now, the aim of this unknown military was to bomb that ship until it sinks, and the Egyptians will be blamed for it because the ship was on Egyptian water. But as the commander in the ship was trying to look at what was happening, because he said they were under heavy fire, they were bombing all the entrance and the exits, all the weaponry that they have on board the ship, they targeted them. He already put in his mind that this is the work of the Egyptians. Then he saw the Star of David on one side of the aircraft that was bombing them. He still wasn't sure what he was looking at until he saw some boats coming, and it was Israeli army that were on the boat. So he said he was relieved that, oh, thank God, our ally, they will come and help us. When the boats approached, they opened fire, and on board that ship that day, they lost 34 personnel and 171 were injured. The president was Lyndon B. Johnson. That was the sitting president at the time. When they called him that we're under attack, he said, and I quote, "I will not disgrace an ally." So he knew that it was the Israelis that were attacking them, and he said he's not going to do anything about it because they are allies. That's one instance where the Israelis have attacked Americans. 2, 9/11. Some of the Congress members, when they were interviewed, they were like, Israel is going to drag us into war with the Iraqis and the Afghan people, because they marked certain countries that they want to take over. They want to topple the government and install puppet leaders, because those countries have oil and other natural resources. Iraq was one of them, Afghanistan, Syria. So they just marked them that they're going to attack these countries one by one. When the American government was pushing back, they're like, we already have a deal with them, we're getting oils from them, so like there's no need to like launch a full assault on them. That was when 9/11 happened. First of all, there were more than 500 Israelis that were working in that building. On that 9/11, no Israeli that was working in that building came to work that day. No, not even one. Secondly, there was a woman that was using this magnifying thingy to watch the building while the disaster was happening from her house. And she saw 5 men dancing. They had a small camera with them, and they were making videos, capturing the building burning, and they were dancing. So she called the police immediately. And when the police got there, the men already left. So they intercepted them on the way, and they searched them. They collected the camera, and they saw the footages, and they asked them, "Why are you here? Who are you?" And they said they are Israelis, that they came from Israel. They came to document the event. So they already knew what was about to happen, and they came with their cameras, according to them, to document the event. Their car was tested for explosive, and it tested positive. They were held for about 70 something days, and they were released, and they went back to Israel. Well, they were using this opportunity to publicly arrest both Palestinian and Afghan people that were instrumental in the government activism, because the whole thing about Palestine that you people heard October 7 has been happening since before some of our parents were born, since 74, 75 years ago. So any government that spoke against it, which was Saddam Hussein was one of them, and any activist that speaks up, they pick them up. Those were the people that they showed us that they arrested. Meanwhile, those dancing Israelis, you can Google it, the dancing Israelis, you will see them. 3 of them were Mossad agents as at the time this happened. Now, eyewitness account said they didn't see anything. There was no plane. All the TV stations already had footage of a plane entering a building and destroying the building. But eyewitness said there's no plane. That one lady even said people are confused that where did they see a plane from?
No, a bomb. I saw it. No plane hit nothing. That is not a plane. They don't know what they're talking about. How would they see a plane hit that? Dude, I saw the second explosion. There was no plane that hit the second building. It exploded from the inside out.
It was a bomb. Bomb in another building, not second plane. That was a bomb. Who said the second plane?
That's what we're told, the second plane. We saw it on television.
Everything.
All right, thanks a lot.
What happened was I was down in the basement. All of a sudden we heard a loud bang. And the elevator doors blew open. Some guy was burnt up. So I dragged him out. His skin was all hanging off. So I dragged him out and I pulled him out of the parking lot. This was what was left on it. Pulled him out. When I pulled him out, I looked up and the second bomb blew up. Just saw a big burst.
All of a sudden, you heard a loud explosion. So we all ran to look. And the first building was a big hole on the side of it, and on the other side went a flame. So we stood there in shock. Everyone screaming. A woman collapsed on me. I had to lay her down on my textbooks. And then before you know it, out of nowhere, the next building blew up. And then all of a sudden, everyone's running all over the place. The panic attack.
We actually didn't see the second plane, but we saw the explosion hit the other tower.
That has to be a bomb, right? Yes, of course. That exploded right in front of us.
I did not see a plane. I saw the plane hit the first building. The second building just exploded.
That looks like a second plane.
I did not
see a plane go in. That just exploded.
Demolitions experts have used different simulations to recreate the scene, observe the event, and they said this is a perfect demolitions job. People that were in the building said explosion. Nobody saw a plane. Now, when they asked them where are the fragments of the plane, at least they said it melted because the disaster was so devastating, and the passports of the pilots was perfect, like nothing happened to it. That was the only thing they were able to bring out, the passport of the pilots, unharmed, no fire, nothing happened to it. But even one fragment of the plane was not seen. Yeah, so the passports apparently belong to the people that hijacked the plane. I don't know why you'll be hijacking a plane and you carry your passport, but what do I know? Yeah, so it was after that that America invaded Afghanistan, and from there they went to the rest of them, Iraq, and they accused Iraq, before they invaded Iraq, they accused them of possessing weapons of mass destruction before they invaded them. The first time Netanyahu accused Iran of building weapons of mass destruction, which is nuclear weapons, was in 1992. 1992, he did it. 1995, 96, 98, 2003, and every time he accuses them of building nuclear weapon, he will say in few months they are going to build it. In 2 years, they are going to build it. And Iraq have made it clear that we have no interest in owning weapons of mass destruction. They also opened their nuclear facility to inspection, like it has always been open for inspection. There's no secrecy there, and they know that, and they've publicly said it that they're not interested in that. So what's this attack for? Because I'm tired of people falling for the same scam. They've used it to attack how many countries, but people are still falling for it. So what's the main thing that's actually happened? The main thing here is Iran discovered antimony. It's a mineral called antimony. They found 7,000 tons of it in Iran, the largest that has been discovered in the world so far. And they announced it that they're going to start drilling for the antimony. This mineral can be used to create weapons, like grade weapons that no country has yet. Tech, surveillance tech, the use is versatile. Them finding it in abundance in their land and not wanting the US to have their hands on it is a problem, because the people with the largest amount of the antimony is China, and they are gatekeeping it. They don't want it to be with the US. Like they don't want the US to have it in abundance. The US they have it too, but in small quantity. So they've been trying to break a deal with China to see if they can get their hands on more of it. But China is gatekeeping it, and
I will post the link, Miss Hitty. I will post the link, and then I will also try to. I didn't really search for her. The video was sent to me. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna follow this video and see if I can actually find her and try to get in touch with her. But I will also post the link.
Iran, they're close to China, so there's no way for the United States to get their hands on that fat, juicy quantity of antimony. That's why they're invading Iran. There's no weapons of mass destruction. And most importantly, the largest settlement of Jews outside of Israel is Iran. Well, let's put distinctions between Jews and Zionists. The people in Israel are Zionists. Jews are different group of people entirely. Yeah, so that's what's happening. They discovered antimony in large quantity in Iran. That's what the problem is. This is the same reasons why they're in Congo. The United States government made the Congolese president sign a deal that they are going to protect them against the M23 rebels that they are funding. In return, they are going to take full control of their mineral resources. They're going to mine as much, as long as the deal of them protecting them against the M23 rebels stands. The United States will be in charge of mining all the mineral resources, including uranium. And they were actually trying to trade the uranium that they're going to be getting from Congo. They want to trade it with antimony from Iran. But Iran said they don't want uranium. So this was also part of the problem. Them not being able to come to a conclusion to break a deal to get their hands on it. Well, bye.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna follow her link. Okay, so the link I posted, right? She got a lot of video out there, so I'm going to like try to search her to get in touch with her and see how we can do some link out and see how we can do some discussion together as well. Oh, that's the link I posted. Okay, so let me hold on. Let me see if I can get it back from my. Let me. Okay. Let me get it. She's right here. Let me see here. All right. So there's a link. I'm posting a link right now. All right. Yeah. So that's the right link. That's a link for her. I'm just okay. That's the link I just posted. So you can click on it and then follow her. I'm gonna do the same thing as well. And see if I can get in touch with her. But yeah, so like she said, right? And there's the end of the discussion. But like she was saying in that video, and as you saw multiple eyewitnesses that said they did not see a plane, right? But let's look at one issue here that she raised. I don't know if some of you got it, right? They said there was a plane that went in there and cracked the building. So if that plane went in there, so that means that plane did not hit the building, come out and kept flying, right? I mean, just simple analysis. So the plane hit the building, boom. So the plane left in our building, it came down with the building, right? Fine. Now, after the plane hit the building came down, everything got burned. But one piece of the plane did not even stay. Everything, according to the reporter, melted. Everything melted. Like one piece of the plane was never there. But the interesting part, the passport of one of the how do you call it, the pilot that was in the plane was seen, and this passport was never burned, never, I mean, like nothing, still clean and good. How can an entire plane burn and you see no particle of the plane, but you see the passport never burn and still the same? The analysis or the conclusion to that is, in order to convince the public that the people that burn the World Trade Center came from certain place, you have to give evidence, you have to bring out something. And that particular thing will be the passport. Because it is the passport that will tell, because you will see the passport and see the individual and see the structure, the skin, the body, and know that the face, everything, then know that, okay, it is true. These people came from this part of the world or the earth, or they came from here. So you have to come up with a passport. You have to come up with something to show that it is these people that burned the World Trade Center. But how can the entire plane burn? And you don't see that, because the passport was within the plane. And the plane got burned, everything, nothing, no particle. But passport left. Does it make sense? Our witnesses at the scene said they never saw any plane. You saw the video. All they saw was bomb. They never saw no plane. Our witnesses at the scene. Now, there's another thing she said. There were, I think she said, well, number of Israeli. I forget the figures, so I'm not going to call figures before I mix it, right? I don't want to be the false reporter. But I will say number of Israelis, right? People from Asia, Israelis, nationality, right? Citizens, also work in our building. But on this particular day, not one of those people went to work. Coincidence? You see that? Not one of those people went to work. They didn't know about the bombing. I'm just explaining. I'm just adding to what she said, right? So that you can see, go do your research and see. But and after that, they use that and say, hey, the people that bombed, they came from that place. They went, they got nuclear weapon, because they use this as a mean. For some of most people already know, right? Allegedly, let me use that word again, right? These people bombed the place to use it to go to Iraq, to kill the president and get the people oil. They went for the oil. And that's the same thing they're doing to Iran today, because they want the resources there. Like she said, right? I'm going to do more research to follow up on that. Like she said, the deal that was made in DRC Congo, the uranium, right? Like she said, it have been alleged. Let me put it that way. The US have already gone to Iran in exchange of the DRC Congo uranium to give to Iran. And then in exchange, the Iranian government or authority can also give that particular mineral resources to them. But the Iranian government said, no, we don't need uranium. It have been alleged. Let me use that word, like she said, right? But I'm going to do some research and see, to follow up, to make sure that statement is right. I'm not saying she's wrong, because she already did her research, right? Based on her analysis, I know she really do research, because it is only someone who really do research, analyze things, can actually give a profound perspective analysis like she did in our video, right? So I give her credit to that. But like I said, I want to do my own research, like what she said about that exchange of the US already gone to Iran, trying to give them the look. Anyway, let me stop here, because it's frustrating to even hear that the US went in exchange of the DRC Congo resources, uranium, to the Iranian in order to get the, you see, Africa, Africa. Anyway, folks, that's today's discussion, right? Please share, like, subscribe. Let it go as many as it can go, man. Yeah, right now, before this year end, actually, we want to go up. You know, let's go to at least 4 or 5K, right? Let's do it. We can do it. We can do it, folks. Let it go, right? You know, what we put out here, you see how we bring the discussions. We try to link it, right? We try to link it. Even if we bring an article, you know what we bring. If we bring in videos, you know what we bring to link everything and see and open up to you and see how it goes. So there's a very great platform, not because I'm doing it or we the one doing it. That's why I'm saying that. But you as I can testify to it, right? So let it go. Subscribe to it if you have never, share it. You know, this is where we come to church. And sorry for if you're a Christian, but these are one of the best places for church every Sunday to come, right? Anyway, this is today's discussion. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for being with me. We started 1 o'clock and now it's 3:50, almost 4 o'clock. Thank you so much for tuning in, for hanging in. I will see you Saturday. If a Kimba is ready, because I know he's been busy doing some work behind the scene around, so that's why you never been seeing us for the Saturday show. But Sunday I try, my best. Last week we wasn't on because I thought I was going to be on. What happened? I got caught up with something, so I had to call. I wasn't even home because I thought I was going to be back on time, so I had to call in Kimba to skip that day to today. So he was able to do it, to reschedule it, and that's why we are here today. But I'm hoping either maybe this coming Saturday we're going to be on, but if not, I will see you Sunday, and as we all continue to fight. Uhuru, peace.
The white power structure, because that's all we have in America. And the